What's up everybody, Life's Apprentice, welcome back to another one. First we're going to be dropping off this 10-yard here, and then we got a special guest coming. We'll get this one dropped and go pick up our guest. Look at that. So Silverstone is your construction.
Yep.
And that's what you've been doing for 30 years, you said?
Yep.
You've owned it
Yep.
for 30 years? And I'm assuming you did construction before that.
Oh yeah, I got about 45 years in it.
Sure, sure. And now the dumpster business.
Yep.
Trash Monkey dumpster rental out of, you're out of Madison, right?
Yeah, Cottage Grove.
Cottage Grove.
Suburb of Madison.
And a beautiful truck. What do you like? Do you like it?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah?
It's a 2020.
Nice.
It's almost outdated already.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like the 10-speed transmission on it.
You do?
Yeah,
See, we have the 10-speed and I hate it.
Really?
In ours, it just when you're pulling
even,
heavy loads, it just jumps gears.
Mine doesn't.
No? Well, it must be a Ford thing, maybe.
Yeah.
See, this thing with the 6-speed, you don't notice it,
No.
and it's so much smoother. But the 10-speed, yeah, I don't like it.
My buddy.
But this is also diesel too, and ours is gas. That could have a difference too.
Best mileage I've gotten with that diesel is 24.8 miles per gallon. But that's without pulling.
So this is one I repainted, and so I have 2 more gallons, and I don't see any here particularly that I would paint right away because we have some that are in worse shape. Like maybe this one. This one would probably be a candidate to get repainted right here. Yeah. You can't see how bad it is. It's probably even worse if we go over there. Yeah. Yeah, they hold up pretty good. So this dumpster right here, to my best knowledge, I'll have to look at the number, but you can see how ugly it is. So that's 1502. We tried to number them based on age.
That's what I did.
To some degree. So my guess, this dumpster right here is at least 13 years old.
Wow, you can tell by the handle.
Yeah.
And the rubber thing.
Well, and the other thing, the first stickers that the previous owner got didn't have that. It's got like that inch black around it. The first ones didn't have that. So this one will be one of the ones that we paint.
We got about 1.5 acre backyard.
Sure.
Wish I could use that
To store them?
But yeah.
Where do you store them now?
I rent an airplane hangar just down the road. It's just a small little airport.
Yeah.
So they rent the unrented hangar. As soon as I order more, I'm gonna outgrow them.
Well, you want to go drive some dumpsters?
Yeah.
We're going to Cleveland. Cleveland, Ohio.
Woo!
No, we're going to Cleveland, Wisconsin. Perfect.
Thought to myself, well, that'll work out perfect. Nobody's gonna call and want a dumpster delivered on Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know? And sure shit. People called yesterday, wanted them delivered today.
Sure.
So then I changed our construction schedule around and put my son on it.
So do you mostly like subcontracting, or do you have your own crews, or how does that all work?
I've got like 4 guys.
4 full-time guys?
I used to have 24 guys, and we did 8 million in custom homes a year.
Wow. So you're saying from foundation up?
Yep.
Okay. And so, but now you're doing more of the custom type stuff.
Yeah.
And more specialty stuff, and you're not doing so much of like just cookie cutter homes.
In 08, when the market crashed,
yeah,
I downsized. That's when I realized how stressed I was.
Yeah.
I didn't want all the employees. I wasn't enjoying life anymore.
Sure. And well, and by that time you'd probably made a little bit of money and didn't so much need to push so hard.
Yeah. So I downsized and kept it down to the 4 guys now. And we just do a lot of remodeling. We do a couple houses here and there.
Sure.
But if somebody wants me to build a little house like that, I can't do it efficiently because I just know how to build the mid to high end ones.
Right.
I don't know how to be cheaper.
Well, and the margins probably aren't there. I mean, you got to have the right crews and the right suppliers and everything just to make a buck on those houses.
Yep.
And a lot of the guys that I know from construction that build those types of houses are small general contractors. They don't have any employees. It's all subcontractors, and most likely their wife is a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And that's how they make money.
My ex-wife was a real estate agent.
So I've kept the name. I'm still licensed and insured and all that kind of stuff. And I'm pretty much just subcontracting everything. Everything's word of mouth, repeat customers, you know, referrals, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I basically have no overhead,
Yeah.
like zero overhead. I mean,
same here.
to be licensed and just generally insured doesn't cost that much, especially with no full-time employees. And then, you know,
That's
more or
what
less,
kills me is
I'm just making commissions.
Employee taxes and stuff.
Right,
Just
right.
kills me.
And doing roofs like that, I mean, that's pretty much how everybody's doing it nowadays, is all subcontractors for the most part.
Yeah,
Or the crews are subcontracting crews. They're running their own business. But like the timing for me to get into the dumpster business and out of the exterior business was almost perfect. And I'm not like trying to be like racist or anything like that, but the Mexican crews 15 years ago, you didn't see them.
Nope.
Now you don't see anyone else on roofs and siding and that kind of stuff.
I owned Diamond Drywall for about 10 years. And we had a 24-guy crew. We did commercial work. We did everything. And then the Mexicans moved in.
Yeah, and when you can't beat them.
Compete.
No, you can't. You can't beat them.
I ended up shutting the business down just because I couldn't compete with them.
Right.
And now I hire Mexicans to do my drywall.
And they're great. They're great workers. I mean, they're amazing at what they do, but you can't compete with them. It's very difficult. So at that point, you're basically just a salesman.
No.
And that's one thing. I don't mind being the salesman, but I don't want to take I don't want to take the construction business that way. I don't want to dress up in a suit and tie every day and show up with my car full of displays and paperwork and go sit at somebody's table and hard sell them for 4 hours about how they should hire me, even though my price is 4 times as much. So now your retirement plan and mine are kind of the same. Move into dumpsters. And
when I was doing
cruise.
8 million in custom homes, I was all set to retire at 55.
Yep.
And I was retired good. But I got divorced in 2004. And the lady we hired to replace my ex-wife, she ended up being a professional embezzler.
Oh.
She embezzled hundreds of thousands of dollars from me.
Oh.
And got me in all kinds of trouble with the IRS because she wasn't paying the employee taxes.
Yeah.
She was showing me like she was.
Right, but it was going to her.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of shit like that. So I ended
How
up
long did that go on?
$350,000, and they were finding me like crazy. Finally got an attorney involved, and I got everything paid off now and done.
Yeah.
But it just killed me. I ended up losing. That was at the same time that the market was crashing.
Sure.
So I ended up losing $4.7 million on that whole deal. Got to start over. So, but I'm getting there again. I mean, I've got all the debt paid off and debt free now.
Yeah.
You know, we're moving ahead. I'm getting retirement set up again.
Yeah.
So,
How long was she embezzling?
she about 2-3 years into it.
Just little bits at a time.
Her
Huh?
husband was a computer guy. He was the head computer guy for my accounting firm.
Oh, so they were working together.
Yeah, the accounting firm was like, what the fuck? As soon as they figured it out, they immediately fired him and did their own internal investigation.
Were they doing it for other places too, or were you?
She had felonies for. We looked up her name. She didn't have anything. We never looked up her maiden name. That's where all the felonies were.
So she had done it before she got married or whatever.
Done it, got busted. Yeah, she was professional at it. She even went to accounting school to learn accounting better so that she could embezzle it.
Sure. I've heard a lot of stories like that.
I almost got her, but it got to the point where I had to dig deep. So what she would do is she'd steal the money and then she would code that back to a house they built 10 years earlier for like plumbing or something. And I didn't know, you can't figure that out.
Right. Well, you would have to know exactly where to look. Yeah.
So it's like looking for a needle in a haystack.
Right.
And both my attorneys and my accounting firm, they said, Pat, you're going to spend $100,000 paying us to help look for it.
Right.
So they said, well, you're better off just swallowing your pride and take that money and trying to recover it and move forward.
Right.
So I took their advice, I let it go and swallowed it. Fucking took years. I was carrying 2 big boxes full of evidence. I couldn't let go.
Sure.
You know, I just
well, that's tough. I mean, that's what you worked for so long.
I got unhealthy, you know, where I just dwelled on it all the time. bother
Yeah.
me.
Oh, I'm
But I
sure.
survived it. Kept moving forward.
And then 2008 happened.
Yeah, that
Right
happened
after
almost
that,
the same time.
yeah.
You know,
And-
it started in 2006.
Right. And then the construction industry just went to shit.
Yeah, dropped right off.
So what'd you do then? I mean, you were just taking whatever you could
because
get.
Because I was more into mid to high end homes. I had some real high end clients.
Sure.
But one guy lived in Taiwan and built a $2 million house during that time.
Yeah.
So that took 2 years to build.
Sure. So jobs like that
Indoor
help.
pool, everything. You know, that was,
Yeah.
then he'd fly back from Taiwan a lot.
Well, and that
Stuff
$2
like
million
that, those
house.
guys had money.
That $2 million house then's 4 or 5 now.
Oh, easy.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of guys. Sold off all the extra equipment that I didn't need. And back then I had 20,000 square foot warehouse. And I had 3 job trailers full of tools. They're all color coded.
Yeah.
Bobcats, dump trucks, and flatbeds.
So when did you start dumpsters? When did you start? How did you start?
This is my 3rd year.
3rd year.
So how I started was I was having customers ask me, where can we get a dumpster from? You know, we can't afford $800 for a dumpster from Pelletier or Waste Management. They're these big guys, you know. And their dumpsters are so big, they don't fit in the driveways.
Sure.
They're long. And so it happened so much that I was like, what the fuck can we do about this? So I had a 14-foot dump trailer. And then I started, people are asking me, well, can we rent that dump trailer? You know, I'd say, yeah, $250 for the weekend or something, you know. Then it got to be so much where I could hardly keep it myself. I'm like, all right, guys, that 14-foot we're filling too fast, too much. I said, we need to get a 16-foot. It's got to be like close to 20 yards. So, and then I said, well, let's do that and see if we can rent them and see what happens. Got to pay for them. So I took that information. I thought, well, now I can teach my boys how to start a business. You know, they'll start from scratch. I'll keep them involved. Come up with a name, how to start an LLC, and color schemes and stuff like that. So we all sat in the living room, talk about it, come up with ideas, and we agreed on Trash Monkey. We thought that was kind of cool.
I love that name.
And we come up with some colors. And the color we got from Max D as a Kawasaki green. This was just a really bright green. It doesn't have too much yellow in it. Or, it's just the right color.
Right.
So we did that, worked everything out. I ordered 2 brand new dumpsters, and I had to add a 12-inch board on it to make it 20 yards.
Are they metal sides up to that point?
Yep, they're like 4-foot sides.
Okay.
To make it 5 foot.
Yep.
To make it 20 yards, 20.74 yards. So, first year I got them in March. And
This is 2021, most likely?
At 2020. 2022. We did 23, and this is the 3rd year.
Okay,
So we
okay.
did all of 2022.
So March of 2022.
Yep. So we started renting them. We did the logos on them, Rent Me, and all that stuff. And shit, I sold them out, sold out the whole summer. We couldn't even use them for our construction company.
Right.
And we're like, well, what the heck? So by midsummer, I was like, we need to order some dumpsters. And by then I did some research, and I started following you on YouTube and paying attention, and I followed a couple other people that Rolling Hops in
Sure.
Illinois. I followed him. I was like, huh, there seems to be a fad. People were really diving in. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I was doing it for a purpose, not because it was a fad.
Right.
So we decided, well, let's go ahead and spend the money and buy the roll-off trailer, and we'll get 3 dumpsters. See what happens. So I got 2 20s at 15 yard, the roll-off. I had those buttered. That was year 2.
That was 2023.
Yep. So we started then, and it just took off. And all I do is Facebook ads. I don't do anything else. I didn't know anything about SEO. Nothing. So I was like,
I mean, at this point, you have like Google My Business, and you had done that kind of stuff, right?
yeah.
And
my
you
sister
some of
did
the
that for me,
free
Google.
listings and stuff, but you weren't doing any paid ads other than
Just
Facebook ads.
just
And
Facebook.
what are you spending on
So
Facebook
what I did
ads?
was I went into Fiverr, and
Okay.
I hired a lady on there, which we've hired again, to do some video ads, just some 15 15-second video ads.
Sure.
We can use for Facebook. And I've done that, and they're just sold out all the time. My sister
Sure.
did my Google business, kind of got that going for me.
Yeah.
And then, so then we were sold out the whole summer, all 5 of them.
So that's the two 20-yard dump trailers, two 20-yard dumpsters, and a 15.
Yep. Just sold out constantly. Like, what the hell? And then I was running them, I'm supposed to be doing construction.
Yeah.
Running dumpsters like crazy. So I had to try to kind of get used to that, figure that out. So then we decided, by the end of that year, I decided, let's get 3 more.
Yeah.
So we did that.
What sizes did you get the second time?
Yep, that's what started this year.
You got two 20s and a 15 again?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now, I bought some 10 yards because I had a lot of calls for 10 yards. So I bought two 10 yards and another 15s.
Okay.
I have two 20s, two 15s, two 10s, and then the two 20-yard dump trailers.
Sure. Well, another thing about like getting rid of the dump trailers, especially like as you scale and stuff, it's just about efficiency.
Yeah.
Like if you have to do 2 dump trailers, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, and then run your trailer and dumpsters during the day. Think of like the time of taking this hitch off and that hitch off and backing up to this trailer, unhooking that trailer, and all that kind of stuff.
Friday I had to do that. I had to run dumpsters in the morning, pick them up, drop them off, landfill a bunch of that, and then I had my dump trailer in Janesville.
Yeah.
So then I had to run the roll off all the way back, drop that off, and then come the backtrack all the way down to Janesville.
Yeah. Your efficiency is going to pick up, and if you, I mean, I'm not saying you get rid of it completely, but you don't want to be sending that thing out unless you absolutely need to.
Well, that's how it is now.
The efficiency will pay so much more, especially once you get to the point where you're at. Like buying or using dump trailers at that point makes no sense anymore. And
exactly
between, I mean,
only
just
rented it
fuel.
once so far this year, and I had to.
Well, and at this point, you just keep it for your construction.
Yep.
You know, and then you know where it's at, and I mean, it might stay there for a couple days, couple weeks.
My son can move it.
Right.
I like the dump trailer. I can put it in the yard. I can put it in the driveway. I can park in the street without a permit.
Right.
I can do a lot more with it.
Right.
Which is important.
Yeah, that part is nice.
So I want to keep it for that. But I do need to order some more. At least get 2 more 20s.
Well, and I think 20s, for us, it seems 20 seems to be the best size overall.
It's the most popular, for sure.
But the other thing, like with the 20s, I'm sure you've heard, you paint the lines inside of them and make 15s or 10s, or whatever. And then somebody orders a 10 and you give them a 20 and they fill it up to a 15, you just charge them.
Oh, that's what I did before I had those sizes. I had 10 marked and I had 15 marked.
Yeah.
So if you go above this, you're going to charge to 15.
The one thing about the 10s and the 15s is certain places and certain people like them because the sides are lower.
Yeah.
That's what I find with them. As a roofer, I don't want a 20 yard unless I need one, right? I want to be able to lift tarps and whatnot right over the side, and it's more efficient that way. But as a dumpster guy, you want to rent 20s. If you're charging tonnage and stuff like that, you want to rent 20s because you're going to get more money out of it for the same trips value,
Oh, that's true. I like that one. We had to run to Prairie du Chien this morning. It's an hour away.
Yeah.
And that was a 10 yard.
Yeah.
Like all that way for a 10 yard.
But you're charging extra for that, right?
Well, I do up to a 50-mile radius.
Okay.
So.
And that's included in your base price?
Yeah. So it's getting to be where 50 miles is pretty far.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of charging something after 40, 35 or 40.
So this dumpster we're going to, for example, here, I don't know the exact mileage on it, but from our yard, this is probably 40 some miles, maybe 50. We also have a dump out here that charges $70 a ton versus our other dump that's $54 a ton, something like that. So, like say where we are right now, this is 30 miles. This dumpster that we're going to is $100 more than a dumpster would be right here. We want to make sure that we're profitable for that extra time. And so that's the way that we do it. And to turn down a dumpster this far away doesn't hurt my feelings that much. But for that extra $100, it makes it worth it, right? Because you're gonna pay your labor, you're gonna pay your fuel and stuff like that, and you might come out a little bit on top. The other thing, we're charging by the ton for dump fees. We charge $70 a ton for everybody. Overages for tons, because our most expensive dump is out here and it's $70 a ton. Now if we take this dumpster to this dump, it's $70 a ton, but if we take it to the other dump, it's $55 a ton. So technically on the overages, we're still profiting a little bit on the overages as well.
I charge 95.
What do you pay?
56.
56. Okay, so you're even higher than we are, which is good.
And
I think
no
you should.
complaints over that at all.
Yeah, and I think you should charge extra for that, because you're hauling more weight.
You got to spend the fuel,
right? Wear and tear,
time, and all that wear and tear, and all that.
Right. I would recommend on those farther ones, especially being sold out all the time. Charge a little more.
Yeah, that's where I'm getting at.
How many tons are you including?
2 tons for a 20.
Are the other guys including
for 15 and 1 ton for 10?
Okay. Are the other guys
they're less?
Are they including?
They include 1 ton.
1 ton. Okay.
So it's hard to get people to understand that.
Yeah.
They call me and say, "Well, it's getting me on the tonnage."
Right.
So the other thing I thought about is like same day dumpster guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does $2.99 for any dumpster size. And he charges 9 cents a pound for a dump fee.
Yeah. I think
so
that's
he was explaining that, and I thought, and then I had citywide dumpsters in Madison. They're really big, but they started out. I remember when they started, they were $1.99 for any size plus the weight. Sure. And they grew fast, really good. So I thought about maybe changing it to something like that.
I've seen John's videos and stuff like that. Where John makes money is, well, and to some degree, I think it's almost a little bit hypocritical. But he says if you're not sold out all the time, you got to raise your prices. But then he's the lowest price, right? So how John makes money is the extras. So when he says it's $2.99, I don't know this for sure, but most likely that's for 1 day to start. If you want it for 2 days, it's probably $3.49 or something like that. And then 7 days is this and that and the other thing, and then he's making money on tonnage. So 9 cents a pound, that's $180 per ton, right? So I don't know what he's paying for dump fees. I guarantee you it's not bad, right?
No, he's making money.
So he's making that. The problem I see and have with that is your educated customers that rent dumpsters regularly aren't going to go for that, I don't think, in our area. Your contractor, so you're a contractor and you want to rent a dumpster and you see the $2.99 and you think, oh wow, that's a good deal. But then you read into the fine print, what are you going to say about that?
Well, I used to buy from Citywide. We did that.
Yeah.
I didn't even pay attention to the dump fees.
Yeah.
I just looked at the initial price.
Right.
Like, oh, $2.99. Cool. I get it for a week, but then they start charging $12 a day after a week when construction got super busy.
Sure.
I bitched about that, but it just stopped. Everybody does that now.
I like the idea of it, and I know that you could be more profitable doing that. I just don't know. It's hard to say with like existing customers like we have. If we do that, I think they're going to throw a fit.
I do that by my sister. She said the same thing you're saying.
And the other thing about it is there's so much other competition that's not doing that. There's plenty of places that these people can go.
Yeah, right now, growing because I'm one of the cheapest out there. Not too much cheaper, but just under the radar, you know.
Yeah.
They're liking it.
Yeah.
Building a reputation like that, and get tons of repeat customers.
Sure.
Every year, I get seeing people I've run into before.
We get roofers in general, they're the ones, and we do a decent amount of roofers. I would say maybe like 10 to 15% of our business is probably roofing.
Sure. Oh.
And they bitch about, we only include 1 ton, so they bitch about that. And then they know what the dump fees are.
Yeah.
So they know that you're upcharging on their extra tonnage.
Yeah.
So I think if we went to like that 299 model and did that, homeowners and people like that, they don't know what stuff's gonna weigh. These roofers know exactly what something's gonna weigh.
Oh, yeah.
And
They're used to it.
right. So I think we would get some pushback there. Now, that's not the end of the world, but I'm not so sure how I feel about that pricing model. One thing that we did is we only included 1 ton, and we actually lowered our prices based on all the competition moving in and stuff like that. My idea is kind of like John's, where I want the customer to only pay for what they need. I don't want them to pay for like a homeowner. They don't need
Sure.
3 tons included in a dumpster, especially a 10, 15, 20 yard, whatever. They don't need 3 tons included. So we lower the price for those types of customers, and then the roofers, they end up paying more because we're only including 1 ton. So it's kind of a similar model in the sense that we lower our prices and the customers generally only pay for what they need. But I think doing the 299 thing, that's a slippery slope there, in my opinion.
It is.
In my opinion.
The more I ask, everybody's saying the same thing you're saying. Then the customer kind of feels like you get this big bill at the end for weight, and they feel like you just upcharged them, you know.
Right, right.
That can sit wrong with a lot of people.
It definitely can. It definitely can.
It's just like I used to have the fuel surcharge in there, and people got pissed at that.
Yeah. Well, we did it too when fuel prices were way up.
Yeah.
We don't now. But like I said, so I think this is a 15 yard we're going to pick up here. Most likely this is a $450 or $500 15 yard with 1 ton included. It might even be 500 because this is pretty far. This is for a customer that we've done a lot of work for. And
So
we'll
do you
travel a
have
little bit farther.
You use Docket too when you have an order online, or are you still taking it by the phone?
Both. So we are, I don't think we're completely set up online yet, but we will be very soon.
I know. I've got
We had a meeting.
All my advertising all pushes it to the website, and they all order online.
Are you doing through Docket too?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling with Docket on some things, but they're trying to fix it, you know.
What things?
Well,
Did they do your website and all that?
no, if I had paid someone else to do it through Fiverr as a professional,
Okay.
made an SEO, really good SEO.
Sure.
So ever since he finished just a few months ago, there's been a big difference. So then
Are you ranking better in the areas that you want?
Yeah, well, he set it up because I live in Cottage Grove, but
Right.
everybody is based in Madison, or they somehow get this Madison thing. They couldn't get my people make Google dumpster stuff. Like they couldn't get me to pop up in Madison.
Sure.
So he restructured my website so it says top dumpster rental in Madison, Wisconsin, even though my address is Cottage Grove.
Sure.
It
Sure.
gets it by Google somehow. So he did that, and then he did a bunch of service area pages. So he did a little mini website for every township around me.
Sure.
They're all linked to my website. So when somebody in some prairie types in dumpster near me in some prairie,
Their landing pages.
it'll pop right up.
Yeah.
Then I did all these backlinks. I hired a lady on Fiverr who has really high rankings. I hired her to do 500 backlinks. And because of how Google is, you have to kind of trickle it in. You can't just dump 500 backlinks out there and Google bots will flip out.
Right.
So she's draining them in there.
Just a little bit at a time.
And that's making a big difference. Now my name's popping up in all these blogs. articles and things, and so the Google bots are seeing that. They're seeing it more real.
They're piecing it all together.
Me up.
Yeah.
So I'm learning all that. I actually learned it from the guy that did my website. He's on YouTube. His channel, he's on different blogs and stuff all the time. And I watch him and I learn from him. He gives away too many secrets, to be honest.
Sure. I've learned a lot of
That's how
stuff
I learned
like
to
that
do
too.
the backlinks. I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
So I saw one of his videos. I'm like, what the hell? And he even suggested, go to Fiverr and look at this, and you can do this and that.
Sure.
So I did. I was like, well, it cost me a couple $100 to have that lady do 500 backlinks.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much permanent too. So that's not something that you have to like work on. I mean, you still want to work on it regularly, but it's not something that you have to pay monthly fees or every month you need to do so many or whatever.
Yep.
So it's kind of almost a one and done to some degree.
Yep.
You'll still always have to
if
tweak
you want
it.
to do more, like I started out with 500, but she said you can go down to like 200 in a month or 150 every month. And just kind of keep it going.
Yep.
She said let the 500 kind of sink in first and then start doing small.
Big thing you got to start is Google reviews too. That's a huge one.
Yeah. I had 55-star, and then I lost it. Somebody got in and fucked up my Google stuff, so we had to start all over.
Really? For Trash Monkey?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, we couldn't get in it. There's all kinds of shit going on. My sister runs it for me. She's good at it.
You think somebody
I don't
like
know what the
hacked
hell's
it or
going
what?
on. Somebody hacked it. Somebody did something.
Huh.
And so we had to start it completely over. We're trying to get a hold of Google, and it just takes.
That's a
forever.
mess. Yeah.
We're doing my new website at the same time, so we had to get the new one going, something going.
Yeah.
So we did. Now I have, I think, almost 10 already.
Keep working on that. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Try to ask every customer you can. A lot of customers will tell you yes.
Docket automatically sends it to them.
I still ask them. We still ask them. Yep. And I'll tell them, hey, you know, when I pick up this dumpster, you'll get a link, you know, right to our, if you wouldn't mind, you know, go leave a review. And a lot of people come out and say, oh, you guys were the best. You guys, those are the people you ask, you know, because they're so excited to have you be their dumpster person. Even if it's the only dumpster they ever order in their life, they envision it as such a just terrible process and dealing with all this, and guys like us can make it super easy for them. So they have this misconception of what renting a dumpster looks like, and then when we provide the service that we provide, they're so happy and thankful for it because they didn't expect that. And those are the people you ask, because most times they're gonna give you.
I always make it a thing to go up, shake their hand, and thank them for their business.
Yep.
When I drop it off, I think about it. When I pick it up, I always thank them for their business.
Yep.
So that's a good point.
I always just ask them, you know, you guys are the greatest. You guys did great. You answered my phone calls. You picked it up, dropped it off on time. And I just say to them, hey, if you want to help us, leave us a Google review. That helps other customers find us.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll send you a link.
And they'll always say yes. They'll always say yes, but they don't always do it.
Yeah.
But, you know, just that little, it only takes a second to ask them, and nobody gets offended, or, you know, nobody feels bad about you asking.
Yeah.
And if they do it, great. If they don't, whatever. You know, and then
I'm gonna start doing that.
Jake, he asks them when we drop it off. A lot of times we get a Google review before they even fill up the dumpster.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do that, but Jake does. Jake's he's a savage like that. See, I want to wait till the job's done to ask for it, because there's still room for us to fail, you know. And
Is Jake the young guy that you hired not long ago?
Yeah, yep. So Jake's been with us a little over a year.
Teach him how to back up.
Yep. He did construction with me for many years.
What happened with Laura? Why did she leave?
We weren't really seeing eye to eye.
Oh, really?
And it was kind of a good opportunity, because that was my opportunity to jump in full time. And when that happened, I knew what to do. It was time. It wasn't something that I was scared to do. It was something that I didn't really want to do quite yet, but I needed to. And things have improved since. But I'm more present in the business. I'm more involved. I don't mind driving. I don't mind this at all.
I don't mind driving. I've
Yeah.
always been, I loved it since I was a little kid. Working on the farm, I always loved pulling a trailer or something behind me.
Yeah.
Driving was just something that just turns me on. I don't know why.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, I bought that 66 Ford.
You did buy it?
I did.
Oh,
Drove it home from New London on.
I think the farm truck we drove is it had a grain bed on the back, but I'm sure it was like a 65 or 66.
Yeah.
I had a shifter, and I was like 12, 13 years old. My brother's a year
Yeah.
younger than me. And when the farmers were gone, it was just us. We'd take the truck and race it
Nobody
down.
looking.
Yeah, we'd race it down the gravel road next to the farm.
Yeah.
Oh, I just shifted gears.
Yeah.
It didn't have shifter exhaust, so it
Yeah,
sounded
it was
like a
loud.
NASCAR, you know?
Yeah.
We could barely see over the steering wheel.
Yep.
We were jamming gears.
Yeah, so I've always wanted a
Does
old.
that have the granny gear in it too?
Yep.
It's
First
gonna
and
start
reverse.
out second?
Yep. Starting second. It's 4-speed. Technically, I guess 3-speed, but
Right.
yeah. So first gear is just granny gear,
Yeah.
and reverse is granny gear.
Yeah.
So you which is a little different because I'm used to the 5-speeds. When I grew up, my first couple vehicles were Ford 5-speeds, newer ones like 80s, and I had a 90. And so yeah, when I'm driving it, I always want to start in first because it starts just like a 5-speed,
Yeah.
and I always want to start it in first.
It takes some getting used to.
Yeah, but then you're grinding into second because you're already moving, so it's taken me a little getting used to. And then, you know, when you're going from second to third, like there's a big opening up there where
I
fifth
know,
would
you
be.
gotta go way over.
So trying to find third is like, it's like, is that first or is that third? You know, because you would think it would just be all the way up to the right, but no, there's nothing there. So it'll take me a little getting used to, but I haven't drove stick in probably like 10 years. I mean, it's like riding a bike, but
Oh yeah. That's one thing I taught my boys how to do it. I refuse to let them be those millennial kids that
Yeah.
can't drive a stick.
yeah.
My boys will hop in, they can jam any gear on any vehicle.
I told my wife, I said,
motorcycle or whatever.
this one has anti-theft on it. She said, what do you mean?
It's a 4-speed.
Yeah, I said, nobody knows how to drive this shit anymore. Nobody's
Like,
gonna
what's that
steal
extra
this.
pedal for? What's
Yeah,
this for?
nobody knows how to drive that. But yeah, I wanted an old one, and it had to be manual. I did not want 3 on a tree, and it couldn't be pretty. I want that like kind of patina, and you know, just that look. I really love that look.
Awesome.
And it's got it. It's pretty solid. It actually has a dump bed on it that doesn't work, doesn't function.
Yeah. Are you gonna put a regular bed back on it?
I don't know. I'm not sure yet. There's just a mess of wiring in there I need to go through. I'm having some power issues with it where I had the alternator and battery out yesterday.
There's also a car
Always,
right there.
always.
I'm gonna move that dumpster.
Yeah, I got her.
You sure?
Yeah. So I took the alternator out yesterday, took the battery into O'Reilly's, got that checked. They were both fine. So I did some YouTube research, and I guess it's like a voltage regulator
They're separate from
is the next
alternator.
thing. So I got to test that, which is best case scenario
That's
because it's like
usually what it
$40.
is. Yeah.
It's like $40. An alternator
Easy.
would be way more, and a battery's at least 200.
Yeah.
All right, let's go pick her up. I would do that on camera.
Would you run out of fuel?
Probably. Even when I'm filling up, if my tank's empty, I always leave a little bit in the tank.
Yeah.
That way if I forget next time, I always have a pint or, you know, of fuel left. That way if I forget and I end up in that situation, I always have something in here and I never find it empty. Usually, so we gotta get DOT inspected.
I haven't done that.
You don't get pulled over. Your truck and trailer got to get DOT
I
inspection
got pulled over
every
once.
year.
I got pulled over once, and it turns out it was a state trooper I built a house for.
So you got lucky.
So I got lucky.
They have to be inspected once a year, truck and trailer, by somebody licensed.
I've never done it. Who does it? You gotta go to state trooper to do it, or what?
No, there's places to do it. Our mechanic does it
Really?
at the yard there, yeah. But he's like licensed to do that.
Every time
I'm not sure what the credentials you got to have exactly, but
Yeah.
see this sticker?
Yeah,
That's,
that's
what
the DOT sticker?
Yeah, that's the inspection sticker.
Okay.
Got a little remote anymore?
I always use it. Yeah.
I had mine came unplugged from the thing they put on there.
I used to keep it, but like they say, that ain't going nowhere, right?
Yeah, so Trash Monkey was supposed to be just a side gig, a little side hustle. That's
That never.
a full-time deal.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself taking it?
I want to take it as
You think
as I can get it. And
Yeah, you think
eventually saw it
employees
off or something.
and whatnot? Yeah.
I think so. I got one guy, does construction with me, he's like 62 or whatever. He retired, but he can make $21,000 a year yet, you know.
Yeah.
So he still works for me part-time, but he said
He'd be a perfect one to do.
Perfect one to drive.
Yeah.
He said he'd do it too.
Because you probably only need them 6 months out of the year or something like that, you know, or like, I mean, that's honestly kind of what I'm doing right now. So Jake runs 7 to 10 hours a day. He's running today. So he does, I would say 75% of the work for the most part, like physical driving work. And then I'm open. Some days I drive all day. Some days I don't drive at all. Working on SEO, websites, Google ads, you know, things like that. Or just farting around doing other things. Construction. I plan my roofs out. My crews pretty much always do a roof in a day. So we get a dumpster there. I don't even take my dump trailer anymore. I still have my dump trailer, but I hardly ever use it because this is just more efficient.
Sure.
Because when I'm not roofing, I'm most likely in this truck. And then I don't, like we were talking about with the dump trailers, it's not even efficient for me every once in a while to do that. And so most likely I'm in a truck, I pick it up, I pay for it, you know, whatever.
Yep.
And a lot of times I'll pick up my own dumpster, go dump it, and then we have a place to take it to another customer. And it just makes way more sense that way.
Yeah, even when you get a roll-off truck, it's gonna have that set up so you can pull that roll-off trailer behind you.
It does.
You can pull too.
Right, but then it's CDL.
I've got the CDL.
You do? I don't. I don't really have an interest in getting one. So I started in the union, in the sheet metal union, and I got my apprenticeship in 2004. And we did big commercial metal roofs and metal siding and stuff like that. Big stuff. And that's kind of where I got my start. And
That's a whole other game.
I hated my bosses, and I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And so I stuck it out. I was making really good money. I would have retired at like 54, full pension, you know, the whole thing.
Sure.
And I just didn't like it. So I started doing stuff on the side. People were asking me as I gained skills and whatnot. And so then you start doing it on the side. And then I was making more money in a weekend than I was all week at work. That work was backing up. So then I got my apprenticeship, or I got my journeyman card, and I quit the same day. And I never looked back. So then we started the construction, and we were doing basically all exterior stuff, and the whole market crashed. So it was in the middle of the market crash, because it was about, by the time I had my apprenticeship, it was about 2010, maybe 9, or when I got my journeyman card, I mean. Well, then the market crashed and all the houses were up for sale. So then I was working for all the house flippers and all the rental people who were buying up all these cheap houses. And one day I said, these freaking idiots can do it, I can do it. So then we would buy a house and we would work on it in the winter. We'd do drywall and, you know, all that. And I have a general contractor license, so I was licensed to do all that stuff, although I wasn't great at it, you know, but I figured it out.
Sure.
Then we started buying rentals, and then the construction got bigger and bigger, and, you know, we were doing more and more and more. And that's how I found CT, who owned Greenhead, was when I was doing the rentals and the roofing and stuff like that, because he was my dumpster guy. He was by far the best price, always on time, you know. And that's how I found him, and he always joked, you know, he was retired when he started this. And so he got to like 10 dumpsters, and he was working full time, you know, pretty much doing dumpsters, and he always joked, I'm gonna sell this son of a bitch, you know, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, if you ever do, I'd love to retire from roofing someday and sit in a dumpster truck. And
how many dumpsters did he have then?
he had 10. 10, yep.
And you took it from that to 40?
Yep, we're at 40 right now. And I could push harder advertising wise and stuff like that, and I could hire somebody to do SEO.
I have to. I mean, to get it
Well, right,
you know?
right, yes.
And I'm learning. I have no idea how to do any of this.
I'm still learning every day too, and that's just part of being in business. You know that, you know, and things change so much. Just the minute you think you know what you're doing, it all changed.
It does.
You know, and then you don't know.
At first, I hated hometown dumpsters. I fucking wasted my money. I canceled it once.
Yeah.
Then I did it again. And then I just kind of let it go for a little bit. Now it's paying off.
It's working.
I'll get 2 or 3 a month from it. That pays for the fee.
Yeah.
A couple extra, you know, and it seems to be picking up.
Well,
I
and
just
you
do
can
the basic things. I thought about calling them and seeing what.
you can upgrade.
Yeah, upgrade if that makes a difference or not.
Well, and it all depends on your service area too. So what Hometown really did for us, Hometown doesn't work in big cities, in my opinion. Now that being said, it does work, but it doesn't work like SEO or Google Ads or something like that. What Hometown does for us is, in our area, we're so spread out. We have like 3 or 4 main cities, and then you have 200 little towns. Well, when you're doing like SEO, it's hard to rank in all these little tiny areas. And they're far enough away from the big city where you aren't coming up when people look for you. So what Hometown did for us is it gets us into all those little, like, you know, micro
that's what I need to
cities,
do.
micro
I'm on
markets.
the east side of Madison, Cottage Grove, and I'm noticing I'm hitting all the little towns spread out away from Madison.
Yeah,
That's where I do most of my business. I don't do hardly anything in Madison.
right.
So that's kind of what I'm doing.
Well, the bigger
Trying to
cities are
get
more
on-
competitive.
Yeah,
They're more competitive, you know.
So much, especially in Madison.
And people are spending so much money to get to rank in those cities, right? So when you're starting, especially like smaller, we want to kind of just more or less pick up where those guys are missing.
So do you just have hometown dumpster that target those areas for you?
I still target all the big towns, but that's not where I get them. That's not where I get paid off on those. It's all these like smaller towns and just little out of the way places. That seems to be the majority of the business that we get from them. But out here, like I said, there's so many of them. I mean, our hometown list is probably 200 towns, because you have, I mean, we drove past 50 tiny little towns just on the way here.
Right.
You know? And
Yeah,
that's to hometown really helps us.
I'm gonna have to call them.
You want to get into all those,
options are.
you want to get into all those little towns and cover like entire county, and that entire county might have 50 plus little towns, and that's where you want to rank, because it's not worth your time and energy and money to work on SEO, in my opinion, in all those little tiny towns. Some of those towns might have 500 people.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, that makes sense.
Then we use Google Ads in our SEO to rank in the bigger cities.
You guys mainly do Google ads,
Pretty much,
Facebook ads, or anything
Nah, I
like that?
tried Facebook ads. I did not have luck with Facebook ads.
Really good luck, but I spent probably $1,000 a month, $1,500,
Yeah.
which to me is a lot because I'm small.
Right.
You know, so every month I'm like, fuck me, it's a lot of money taken out.
Like a good month for you, how many dumpsters are you renting?
Well, get them all rented. I do 1 to 3 day rental and a week rental.
Okay.
And I'll get both all the time.
And so you have technically seven dumpsters.
6, 7, yeah.
So if you're renting everyone once a week, are you doing 30 a month?
It'd have to be somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But this month I'm at almost $7,000 rented.
Sure.
Somewhere in there, which isn't a lot, but
You should try Google
every
Ads.
year it improves.
You should try some Google Ads. Just start playing with it. Start $5-10 a day. Work your way up as you kind of learn. Or you can hire somebody to do it
My
too.
sister worked for me.
Yeah, it's not
She
that
just
it's not
charged me a
that
whole
difficult. Once you start getting up to spending more money, then it's probably when I'm kind of at the point now where I need to start paying somebody to do Google ads. So now, right now, when we open up online booking, we've opened up online booking on Hometown, which I'm probably not supposed to.
I just opened it.
Yeah. We kept it in 2 counties, so Winnebago and Fond du Lac County. So online booking, it'll prompt them if you're in that area that they need to call us to start. Eventually, we will work our way into that. Like if you did the Hometown online booking, you will have seen where you could charge for mileage based on their zip code and stuff like that. But we just kept it close to start, and we're gonna kind of learn the kinks of it and work that out. And then eventually,
I already had to call them and have
we'll open
straighten
it
out
up.
stuff. I had it all fucked up.
Yeah.
So that they straightened it out and got it how I wanted it.
So that's where we're keeping it now, and that's where our base price is.
So what about Docket when they?
It'll be the same.
Docket?
It'll be the same.
Because I know Docket, you can go, let's see, a 30-mile radius, and you can set a different price from that point out.
Yeah.
But you can only do it once. You can't do it multiple different radiuses.
Well, you can't. There are ways to do it. We're still working into that. We had a meeting yesterday with Docket, kind of finalizing ours to start. There is ways to do that, but we aren't exploring those just yet. We're just going to start in our core area, which is basically Fond du Lac and Oshkosh and surrounding areas, and then we're going to work out from there.
You go all the way up to Appleton.
Yeah, I pretty much stay out of those areas. That's the big market. I mean, that's the big market where I want to move and where I could get a lot of business. I'm just not ready to do that yet.
Okay.
My big thing now, when we grew really fast in 2020, we got good interest rates on debt, and all of our loans aren't locked in. So those are going to be coming for renewal. So we had 2 main loans. We had the original loan when I purchased the business. And then we had a business line of credit. That's what I bought the trailers and the dumpsters with as we were bringing all that in. We got that paid off completely now. And then our original loan, we're down to like $70,000 in debt total for the business. So my goal last year and this year, I kind of put my foot on the brakes. I wasn't sure what the economy was going to do. Interest rates were going up. I just was a little bit tentative. I just wanted to be safe.
That's smart.
No, nothing crazy's happened other than interest rates went through the roof. So any extra capital that we had, we just paid down debt rather than buying more equipment. I also chose to. We still have a loan on the orange truck too, which isn't very big, but we got dealer financed at like 2.5%.
That's not.
So I'm not
almost a free loan.
Basically. Yep. So for me to buy dumpsters or anything like that in quantity right now, I either have to refinance, start a new loan, or take the cash. And I've just decided to hold off on that for now and try to pay off that debt. Now we ordered the roll-off truck, which is 120 grand all for total. We're gonna put 30 grand down in cash. That'll be done this fall, and then after summer and everything like that, I'm assuming we should have enough cash to, and then I'll sell a trailer, and a truck.
And they put that
Yep. So I'm hoping that'll basically be a wash there. And if we have to take a loan, it's 10 grand or I don't know, something like that.
That's smart.
But you also got to be careful, like with operating income, you can't just drain your bank account. So we got to keep.
I got a lot of safety cash stacked away.
I do too, but that's mine. That's
I'm
mine.
tempted to,
That's mine.
too.
That's mine. The dumpsters
I don't want to spend it.
The dumpsters don't get my money. The dumpsters pay for themselves at this point.
Yeah.
So, if something really happened,
Owner pays some cash down. So what I usually do is wait till the end of the dumpster season.
and then you got some money
I've got enough to
stacked.
buy 3 dumpsters, 3
Right.
more dumpsters, and I'm
Right.
still debt free.
Right. Well, and like any income that I get from roofing does not go towards dumpsters.
I'm saying construction, I don't put any money towards
anything from YouTube, anything from my rental properties, anything like that does not go towards my dumpsters. That is my money, right? That's now in a pinch, if things got really bad, yes, I would, but that's a bad practice, I think, in business to do that. Now, when you're starting out, maybe that's the only option you have. But once your business is getting to the point where it's somewhat self-sufficient, that is bad, bad business, because you're robbing yourself. And then you're lying to yourself based on profits or how much you're paid or, you know, whatever. You're more or less just fudging the numbers for yourself. And that doesn't help. It doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help anybody.
I paid for the first 2 dumpsters. Trailers.
Which is fine.
Because they're at the time, during COVID, those ended up being 20 grand a piece. But they were fully loaded.
Right. Which is fine.
I put the money up for that, so I'll eventually get that back.
Right.
And I was able to write them off too.
Sure. Well, and you probably wrote them off through your construction business at first. Yeah. Which makes perfect sense.
And when you're starting, off the full write-off, and the other one I did the 5-year plan. Once you
depreciate,
do that, you can't, And my bookkeeper, I sold the one. And she goes, well, which one did you sell? I said, the one that we wrote off 100%. She goes, well, which one's that? I said, I'll tell you. But you tell me which one.
Yeah, that's the one I sold. Yeah.
She's all pissed at me because I won't tell her. So I'm not telling you shit, because if you're too anal about it, you screw me in the write-off.
Yep. Well, and that's where we're getting to, is like, so we went on 5-year depreciation schedule. I think we wrote off a couple of things in full in 2022. Last year we had a big tax burden, which sucked, but we did really well, like overall, between construction and everything. We did really well, and I didn't buy anything. And I knew I was gonna have to pay taxes, but I also paid off a lot of debt, which makes me feel better. And I don't mind paying taxes, but
I like being tax-free if you can.
Yes, or I just don't. It's not. I don't want it to get out of control, and it never was out of control. And it could totally fund itself, but I'd like to take these last 2 years off to get ahead of it, right? Where I'll never have to. In theory, I will never have to worry about getting ahead of myself again with debt, because we'll be able to cash flow so much that if I do get debt, it will be a drop in the bucket compared to, you know, where we're going. And so I think that was the right move. You know, some people might disagree. I was a little bit unsure, like I said, about the economy. Nothing crazy happened.
That's what I'm watching. I'd love to.
I could have grown in these years without really any worry. But in order to do that, I would have had to cash flow.
Finance 10 dumpsters.
That's what I did.
Get those delivered. I don't know if he'll give you a break for buying 10, a little bit of discount.
So we paid 10. We had 10 delivered, and I think we had 12 delivered 2 separate times.
Oh, really?
And I think it was like $1,000.
Discount?
No, for shipping.
Oh, shipping? That's not bad.
But for us, you're a little bit.
Mine up myself.
Oh yeah, we have too. But it's a whole day.
Yeah.
It's a whole day.
Yep, 2 trucks.
Yep, and then you have fuel and wear and tear and everything like that. Yeah. For us, it's like a 4-hour drive each way.
He's charging me $1,400 and some for 3 dumpsters. I was like, no.
But it's probably the same amount for 12.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same truck. Just put more on.
Right. Yeah. And then I got a buddy who's in the tree service. He's got a crane. He's got like basically. It's like an ABC supply truck, you know, but with a crane on it. And so I give him $500, and you know, him and another guy.
That's pretty cool.
They come and lift them off.
That's pretty cool. That's a good idea.
Then I don't have to rent anything, or you know, you got extra hands there to help, and we can get everything moved. But that's the thing. Like I could cash flow and go and buy 1, 2 dumpsters at a time, but I just don't want to do it. I don't. I'm done. And I said that a while ago.
Get where I just paid for them.
Yeah.
Then I think, well, the economy gets better, then I'll buy something. I don't mind going into debt for a little bit.
Right.
But
right now, 12% interest.
My trucks or all my equipment and construction is all paid for.
Right.
You know, which I like. But last year we bought one of those little stand behind bobcats. You know, that
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yep.
we use it for ducks and stuff where we get through the fences,
Yep.
backyards. If I don't do anything a bobcat does,
Right.
see it again. I love that whole thing.
Yep.
We paid cash for that, and we bought a, we had to buy a trailer for it then.
Sure.
So we paid cash for that. So we ended up getting money back.
But I'm definitely not against debt. At the point in my life, I bought a bunch of rentals for those years, and I had lots of debt there. I never had any debt on my construction, but I had a lot of debt there. So like for the last 5 years, I've never taken any money out of my rentals. And I've always just circulated that. Well, then you get 1 paid off, then 2 paid off, then 3. Now we have 12 rental properties, and I think 7 or 8 of them are completely paid off. So then it's that snowball effect. So over the course of 5 years, I will be completely paid off. You did?
That 4 units, duplexes, I built them all.
Yeah.
A lot of equity in them. Lost them.
Yeah.
All the numbers.
I'm not against debt. I just, at the point in my life, I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to try that hard and lose all that money in interest every
When
year.
I was building houses, all those houses, the developers would give me rental property lots. They would give me first dibs on them.
Sure.
Now that I don't build all these houses, I don't have a developer that will give me shit for the lot.
Right.
So that sucks. Otherwise, I'd buy one and put them up.
I don't know how these people are paying so much for these houses at such high interest rates.
That's stupid.
And rent, I mean, rent is high, I get it, but I mean, it was a lot easier when I did it. It was such perfect timing because everything was so cheap.
I started 94 construction.
Yeah.
I was married then, and her and I, we built 4 units and duplexes. My bank kind of said, why don't you guys do rental properties? You know, it's a good
Sure.
investment. We're like, oh, yeah, good idea. So then we started.
Yeah. Well, and you got all the equipment, you got all the crews, you got...
We made it 10 years. And her and I, we'd build ourselves a house. And then we'd be in it for 2 years. While we're there, we'd finish the basement, kind of do some landscaping and some
Sure.
appeal.
And then sell it.
Make a killing. Then
Yep.
we'd do it again.
Yep.
The third house.
Well, and that whole time, the market's appreciating
the third house
too.
we built, it was a pretty nice house. And we got divorced in that house, sold it, we made $250,000. Sold it in an hour.
Yeah.
So we split that and went our own ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the third house. I mean, we had another house ready to go. We were going to start another one.
Right.
Damn
My wife wants to sell them. I don't. I want that to be my retirement. I'll still drive dumpsters, but
it. That's
if
passive income. So you retire. You
well,
get
and
your Social
especially when it's
Security
paid
check.
off.
Yeah, but it's still passive income. Rental
Right.
property is passive income.
Right.
So it doesn't account against your Social Security check or anything like that.
Right. So I'm hoping that will, I mean, that would bring in, if they're completely paid off, that's probably, I don't know what it would be in take home, but probably 10 grand a month, roughly.
That's a good
I mean,
look.
obviously you'd have to put some of that aside for roofs and bigger projects and, unforeseen type things or whatever, but after taxes, insurance.
I'd hire a management company. That you
Oh, I
trust.
will. I
And
will.
Just have them do it all and send you a check every month.
Yep. And even then, after a management company and you put some money away or whatever to maintain them,
Yeah.
which you have to do, obviously. Say it's
Management
$5 grand a
companies are
month.
not that expensive.
Say it's $5 grand a month,
Yeah.
right? And then we've both been, I should have done it a lot earlier in life, but investing in IRAs and like mutual funds and stuff like that. The reason I didn't do it earlier in life is because I was pouring all my money into the rentals at that time. Like we would buy them cheap and then fix them up with cash.
That's what I would have done.
So we would immediately gain equity, then we would borrow off that one to buy the next one, and so on and so forth. And then I was using my own labor, my own tools,
That's the way
just
to
like
do
you
it.
were doing. But
Exactly the way to do it.
that debt is still hanging there 10, 12 years later, So it's like, and I'm not borrowing off them. I never refinanced. Right, but now it's that snowball effect, and that's what I want to do with the dumpster business too. It's the same kind of thing. Now we're at that point. I have plenty of time to grow, right? So taking these 2 years, taking kind of a step back, really focusing in on, you know, the operations of the dumpster business and that, I think will make us just better. And then when we do decide to grow, we'll be a lot more ready, you know. And I think that
Smart.
for us is important.
You're doing it right.
I hope so. Some people would disagree with me.
My dad's taught me that for years and years. Exactly how you're doing it. That's the way I've always
It
done
makes the most sense to me. It makes the most
buying
sense.
investment property is better than hiring by far.
And yes,
You will
yes.
make a lot more money.
But I could have, you know, well, and it's woulda, coulda, shoulda. But I could have been doing my IRA and stuff like that at the same time, above and beyond.
Yeah.
And if you look at the market
Get your rental property
in the last 15 years, you know, whatever. But then COVID hit. I bought this. I wasn't taking any money out of this, and this was doing pretty well, and we were making money. We were reinvesting that money, but I was still full-time roofing and stuff like that. The market crashed, obviously, in COVID, and I was like, all right, here's my chance. I'm getting into
We got busy with construction.
Oh God, yeah. I was terrified. I thought it was going to be bad. Yep.
I was like, holy crap.
That's stimulus money. People love
I
that.
was literally telling people I can't do anymore.
Yep.
I'm completely overloaded with work.
Mhm.
They would get so mad at me.
And you couldn't find nobody to work. That was our biggest problem.
Now you can name any price and it's sign.
Yep.
Just
Yeah,
so
it
you
was
showed
crazy.
up. If you showed up,
That's when we started picking jobs.
no.
We literally, I would show up and not even talk to the customer. I'd just drive away. Like, nope, I ain't doing that one.
Yeah.
You know, I used to be like, oh God, I need that. You know,
Yeah.
no, like, nope, we're not doing that one.
Too.
We just try to cherry
Driving down
pick.
the interstate and there wasn't a car to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is weird.
You're like, yep, I'm essential. I'm essential.
Yeah.
It's the first time ever somebody recognized me as essential. I'm
Yeah.
essential. Get out of my way.
Relish the moment.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So Docket,
Yeah.
you have Docket.
Yep.
What are your issues? You said
It
you're
took me
having
a
some
little bit
issues.
to get used to it, and I actually got pissed off at Docket, and I was going to leave. I went to DRS, got all set up with them, and then they use the credit card processing through Clover,
Yep.
and they are a pain in the ass to get set up with. Oh, Lord. I struggle with them when Docket used to use it too, and I got them to go with Stripe.
Yep.
So then I went with Stripe, and it just made things so much easier.
Yeah.
So and it took me forever to cancel Clover. I had to go through all kinds of hoops and everything, and it was just a nightmare.
So all that's taken care of now. though.
DRS was going to do that. As soon as I found out they had Clover, that was the only choice. And I said, forget it. I went back to Docket, and then my sister would take care of it and talk to them. They actually wanted to hire my sister before they sold it to the company.
Service Corps. Yeah.
But that didn't work out. But anyways, got through a whole bunch of stuff. It was just things like it wasn't keeping track of my assets, where they were, or the numbers would be all screwed up.
Was that partly your fault though,
No,
too, to some degree? No.
Well, we would enter them right. What was screwing it up is that we had dump trailers. They weren't using it. They're trying to figure out how to code that right.
Okay.
And that was messing up everything else. So they finally got that straight.
How are you tracking them with numbers, like we do?
Yeah, just like
So with the dump trailer, why couldn't you just make it a 20 yard? Why would it make a difference?
I
Is it
don't know
because some
why.
customers want?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay.
But anyways, it's all separated now and it works. But now it's the problem where if they order something online, it doesn't register in the availability. But it will if I manually do it.
Okay.
It'll have the start and the end, so when it comes back, you see it's available. Well, we got most of it fixed, except now it doesn't show when it's coming back, so someone else can rent it. You know, like
it
it'll
shows
show
it
it's
as
gone
available.
forever. So it'll show I have 2 assets, and then I rent 2, and it goes 0 all the way across the board, and it doesn't show any when they come back.
Sure.
So
Well,
I
and
have
with
to constantly go in there and manually enter it.
just
update
double
it.
check. Yeah.
I
Well,
have to
and
constantly do that,
with
but they're working on it.
with lower inventory, that's a big deal for you too.
Oh, it's
That's
huge.
huge.
'Cause I don't have, I have 6. That's
Right.
it. So
Right.
if
And
I
you're
had
always
40,
sold
I
out.
wouldn't worry about it
You're
so
always
much.
sold out. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's important for us too. Like even right now, we're out of 20 yards. You know, I mean, you saw that.
Yeah.
And so that is important to us too. And we're just working our way into it.
And even see it, that's a problem when you have so many dumpsters.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But I'm seeing it, I'm looking at that going, how the hell? So I'm working with Jamie over there. She's constantly taking meetings with the engineers because
they're changing code. Yeah.
But they're being nice about it. They're actually really working on it.
They're very responsive. They're very responsive. That's one thing I like about them.
And try to make it right.
Yep.
I told them I'm really getting frustrated with this. That I'm what I have to do, look for a different program, a different or a different company to do this with. And then as soon as I said that, they were
Well, and they're working really hard on just overall getting better, adding new features.
They are getting better.
Oh yeah, light years ahead of when we started. They're light years ahead.
No, I'm really glad I came back to it. It's so much easier to use DRS. Holy crap.
Well, and I don't. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about. Yeah, they're taking a break. There's a Netherlands dumpster right there. Irish. They're out of Sheboygan. Yep. Yeah, they're working really hard on it, and they're super responsive. And I don't know anything about DRS, but once you get used to a system, it's hard to switch. It's hard to switch. And
DRS, like they got me set up, and then they let me play with it for a while.
Yeah.
Where it was actually like it was working. It wasn't like some things you could do, some things you couldn't. You know.
Sure.
So I got to where I was understanding how to use it.
A lot of it's similar.
But it's a lot more work. Dockets is much simpler.
Is it?
Oh yeah, much simpler.
Well, that's good to know.
DRS is close, but there's a lot more to it. You have to. Oh crap! There's a lot of shit. It's overwhelming.
Even Docket is
simple.
too. Especially when you first start.
It took me a while to figure it out. Once I figured it out and I got in sync with it,
there's so much to it. Like you could never possibly learn it all. But yeah, once you get used to it, it is overwhelming at first. But it makes your life so much easier.
With something, they'll tell me, they'll send me an email back and say, well, you know, I'm sorry, or whatever. And then they'll tell me how to do it. So they make me go in there and do it so that I can learn.
That way you know they're not doing it for you.
So I like that too. At first it's kind of annoying because I don't have time.
Sure.
But then I'm like, all right, you need to learn this bad. So I settle myself down and go in there. Do it. I'm like, oh, that wasn't
well,
so
and
bad.
you can do it all on your phone when you're out on the road.
Good job, man. Good job. Just coaching.
Well, they have a whole team now, and then when we first started with Docket, it was pretty much just 2 or 3 guys. Yeah, they were just coders.
Her name, I got their emails. Still, I can
they still work. They still work there.
Yeah, they do.
And they probably made a big bag when they sold it. I bet. And Service Corps is just trying to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
And they're
doing it. They're working.
Service Corps has been, well, they own a whole bunch of like CRM for plumbing and heating and construction type stuff. So that's where they come from. So they're kind of already in the business. They bought Docket to get into the dumpster space, but they do, they work with plumbing contractors who have 150 trucks, and stuff like that, where they're doing service calls and doing all that kind of scheduling. I would imagine it's similar to Docket in the sense of how everything comes through on the phone and with the app, and you can add notes and invoice customers and take credit card payments and put notes and all that kind of stuff, which I love about Docket.
Oh, I love the credit card.
And you can change everything on your phone, whether you're your driver app or you have the administrator app. And it tracks your miles and your time.
I have it on my phone and my iPad. I have an iPad mounted.
Oh, okay.
I keep it on both of those. And the iPad's like on the PC where you can do a lot more with it.
Sure. Yeah, it's a bigger screen.
Yeah. Well, then you can get into dispatch and all that other stuff.
Sure. You can on your phone. It just doesn't look the same. It's like a mobile version. Yeah.
I haven't figured that part out.
It's pretty simple, but Chelsea, my wife, she does it on the phone a lot when she's out and about with the kids or doing this, that, taking calls at the store. But she loves doing it on the computer because you have the full keypad, you have the full screen. It's way faster. But you can do everything that you can do on an iPad or on a computer. You can do all of that on your phone. Yep. It's pretty cool. I'm not an expert on that side of it. I try to stay away from it and try to just more or less stay in my lane and let her deal with that. And that's her full-time job. And
I can imagine that would be a full-time 40 dumpsters.
yeah, someday, someday she gets to kick her feet back, and then next day the phone's ringing so much you can't possibly keep up with it.
Yeah, like last year I'd go a week or two with no calls at all. Now it's every week I'm calling.
More consistent.
It's much more consistent. So I don't think I'm doing more dumpsters, but it's more active.
Well, you really can't do more dumpsters till you buy more.
That's where I'm at. I'm noticing that.
Yeah.
I've sold off for the weekend. Now I'm not hearing anything for a week.
Right. Are you turning down a lot of customers?
Oh, some will call.
Or are you putting them on like wait lists and they're
Oh, they don't.
working
a lot of
with
them
you?
don't even call. They just look online if they can't. If nothing's available. They don't know where.
So you wouldn't
That's
know.
the only thing is I don't know.
You wouldn't know.
The only
Right.
thing I can tell is that it just all of a sudden gets dead, and I'm all sold out, so I know that's why I'm dead.
Right.
You know,
That's one of the other problems with online too. In
gotta
your
get more
case,
dumpsters. And then if I do that, I can't fit them in the hangar, so now I need to find some property.
can you put them outside, or they won't let you?
No, not with airplanes.
Even like to
Really
the side of the
picky.
building.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, now you're on the
It's
radar
funny,
too,
we just
though.
talked about it.
We did. What just
He was
happened?
right by the landfill, but it wasn't the guy, the trooper I built the house for. It's a different guy.
Tell them what just happened. We were just talking about
Yeah.
DOT inspections on trucks and trailers. They got to be inspected every year
Yeah.
and you get like a
He
sticker.
laughed. I mentioned he laughed.
Yeah.
He goes, you gotta be kidding me.
And his son is running dumpsters for him right now and just got pulled over by a state trooper. And yep, well, they must have heard us talking about it.
It must have.
Yep. So make sure you guys are getting your trucks and trailers. If you guys have DOT numbers, your trucks and trailers have to be DOT inspected once every annually.
Well,
It's
yeah,
not
the
it's not a
DOT number. You know, you all I saw your video where you talked about the DNR number.
I don't think I've ever talked about the
Yeah, you had the DNR number. You didn't
No,
say
I
that.
don't think I've ever talked about the inspection part of
No,
it though. I
no.
don't think I ever have in a video, so that's a
That'd
good
be
thing to
good
talk
one.
about.
Absolutely.
It's not a big cost.
I never got bothered with the DNR one until I went to a little landfill way down in southern Wisconsin.
Yeah.
A little landfill down there, and she said, "I'll let you come this time, but next time you have to have your DNR number."
Yep. And it's not a big deal, right? To get
No,
the
no,
DNR
it's
number,
easy.
what is it, like $200? I think it's biannual,
I
right?
think it was that.
Or every 2 years, I think you got to pay.
Yeah.
You get a number, and because we're trash haulers, and maybe we lose stuff on the road, we're using county and city landfills and stuff like that. This fee just helps with like cleanup, and illegal dumping type
And
things.
they just want to
and-
know where you're dumping, how much you're hauling,
Right.
something like that.
Yep.
You kind of guess it. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, I mean, you've been licensed contractor, like you get your dwelling qualifier or whatever one, you
Oh.
just got to send $25 in every year.
God, you're certain to get that.
They just stay there with their hand out. They just say, give us our money.
Just keep adding shit.
Yeah, give us our money. But you got to play, you're playing the game. You got to play by the rules,
You have no choice.
And I don't think DOT can do anything about the DNR number. I don't think they can. So I don't think they're going to get you for that. But as far as a DOT inspection, you have to have somebody who's licensed to do DOT inspections.
I haven't had my DOT number. I haven't had that truck or that DOT number in any of the trucks that I've had for 15 years. I don't think I've ever had the DOT stuff up.
Think of how much time you're on the road though driving dumpsters, how many state troopers you drive by. And when they pull you over, they're gonna find something wrong, inevitably. But that's one thing you guys gotta do. If you have DOT numbers, I would imagine just about every state, probably every state, you have to be checked and have an inspection done by a mechanic or whoever is licensed to do that. We have our mechanic do it, and he's just going to go through, he's going to check your trailer brakes, he's going to check your tires, There's like rules on tires. Once you get to a certain tread length or tread amount, DOT, they're not compliant DOT anymore. They're checking for safety is what they're doing. They want to make sure that you're driving and operating equipment that is going to function.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's just a way to keep riffraff out in a sense. And it's not very expensive. I want to say our mechanic, it's maybe like 100, you know, he charges an hour for the trailer, an hour for the truck, and he does his inspections and whatever. So say his rate's $150 an hour, it's an hour per piece of equipment. And it also gives us peace of mind as haulers, because we might not notice something is broken on our truck, and this is just another time where somebody can find something wrong with a truck or a trailer before it severely malfunctions and would be a major issue. So in my opinion, it's money well spent. This is something we learned by being pulled over. We had our trucks inspected. I didn't know that I needed to have the trailers inspected. I thought because the trailers don't have DOT on them, I didn't think the trailers needed to be inspected, but they do.
With every trailer you have?
Yes, every single one. Every single one.
A lot of trailers.
Well, I mean, for your construction, I don't know that I would worry about it too much, but for the dumpsters, definitely. And now you're on the radar. Now that DOT number is on the radar. Now they'll give you got a warning, so no big deal, but important, because they'll pull you over and check.
Yeah, then it'll be on the radar.
They'll check.
Let's see, well, we pulled you over before for this.
Yep, let's see if he did it. Yeah, they will. They did it to us. We got pulled over on 23 right over here. State troopers always sitting on 23. And we got pulled over like 3 times in a month. Both trucks, 2 different trailers, 2 different drivers. And nobody, they have not even blinked an eye when we drive past them since. But they got us. And then they kept pulling us over until we were good. They were super nice about it, and you know, we didn't have any major issues or anything like that. But make sure you guys are doing that.
Yeah, we'll do it. Good buddy of mine is the service director at GMC.
Yeah, most
We'll
like
see
any
if he
legit.
does it or if he knows.
Yeah, any legit mechanic is going to be able to do it. It's more or less like if you take your vehicle in for like a 50-point safety inspection. It's basically the same thing. The trailer's a little bit different.
Anytime we run a truck in there, he goes through it.
But you need that sticker. You need that sticker. It doesn't matter if he did it and you have it on an invoice.
On Amazon.
You have to have that sticker. You have to have that sticker. Yep.
Buy a duplicate on Amazon. Fill it out yourself.
It's a tax write-off, and like I said, it could prevent a major catastrophe. Really.
Yeah.
It really could.
That makes sense. Safety.
Well, and safety for you, for your driver. It's just like a contractor license. I used to hate having to pull permits, but then as I realized, it's not so bad, because number one, being licensed automatically puts you a little bit on a higher level as the next guy who's doing it under the table. And number two, it keeps a lot of those guys from doing jobs that we could do, and they would steal them, they would underbid them, they would lowball us, they would get the job, but they're not pulling the permit. And dumpster business is the same way, right? They're not insured, or you know, whatever. And it holds everybody to the same standard, so it makes the game fair for everybody. If you're playing by the rules, it's fair for everybody.
Yeah, that's really something to think about.
Now you know.
Yeah.
I learned the hard way too. I mean, like I said, we had our trucks done, but we didn't have the trailers. And I didn't know that. There's no DOT number on the trailer. I didn't know that. But in theory, I mean, it makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of your rig.
Yeah, accident.
Right.
The trailer tips over, it's going to take the truck over too.
Right. And I think, like, insurance-wise, if we are DOT inspected and something like that did happen, that's one less thing that they can say. You know, if you have like a major accident or something like that, and you get into insurance and lawyers and injuries and stuff like that, and they say, well, he wasn't DOT inspected, that's just one little thing that they got on you to push their side of their case, you know, insurance wise or whatever. And it could save, I mean, it could save your business in theory if it came down to something like that bad.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people out there that want you to be
Yeah.
have all the licenses. Right.
Well, and if we're going to grow and run what we would like to be a legitimate, you know, business, then we have to do that, because that's going to hold us to a higher standard.
It does. Makes us more educated too.
Yes. Yep. Yep. And you're not looking over your shoulder. You get pulled over. You're not.
Relax.
You got your sticker. You got your paperwork. You got everything right there. And yeah, they'll probably find something wrong, but just showing a DOT officer all the right paperwork and all of those things immediately gives him a better feeling about who he pulled over.
Next time you drive by, he's going to know that you're
Right.
You do everything right.
He's still going to go through his spiel and he's still going to do his thing, but if you get pulled over and you don't have that kind of stuff, you're starting off on the wrong foot.
They'll remember that.
Oh yeah. Wow. Your son was probably thinking, of course this would happen. Of course this would happen today.
That's funny.
Yeah. The one day.
Just talking about
The one day I'm out driving for Dad and get pulled over.
it. He always gets pulled over. It's not,
Why'd they pull him over? Just for DOT?
I rarely do, and that's usually because it's that cop that built the house.
Yeah.
The trooper, he likes to
Just talk to you?
Yeah. He'll do the light inspection, and then he'll just sit by the window and say, it's all his business. And we'll talk about
Sure.
shit forever. And I'm like, Troy, I gotta get going, man.
Yeah. Did he have a reason to pull him over, or just DOT?
Just DOT. And then he went around to pull back in.
This guy's dropping rocks like crazy out of that shaker. Just gotta get around him. I like this windshield. I like this windshield. I've replaced too many windshields in these damn things.
Yeah.
Between these two trucks, I think I'm 3 windshields deep.
Really?
Yes.
I'm 2.
I've had them also, two windshields, but I've also had a couple times where they did that little resin stuff before it spread, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, them windshields about $600.
Mine are 8 because they got that heads-up display in it.
Oh
So I
yeah.
gotta buy it through the dealership, get a GM windshield, otherwise the heads-up display doesn't work quite right.
Yeah.
And the aftermarket ones.
Yeah, I don't like that. I also hate cracks in the windshield too. That's another thing. DOT will nail you for a crack in the windshield.
Oh, yeah.
They'll nail you for that too. I mean,
Reason to pull you over.
yep. Yeah, the things you don't think about until you're driving all the time, and then a couple windshields later, and a couple of this.
When you're down a truck, it's
Jake's, we just keep blowing through headlights. So he's got the newer Ford. This one only has, I think this one only has 1 headlight on each side. He's got 1 top and bottom.
not really.
I've replaced 6 headlights in that thing in the last like 12 months. And he's got one out right now.
Really?
Yesterday I noticed it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
2008 GMC, just sold it 4 years ago. I'd go through headlights all the time on that one.
I don't get it.
The new ones I have no problem. I don't go through
It's not that big of a deal, but then it's like, okay, it's $12 for a headlight, and then you gotta take the fucking battery out. Well, these got 2 batteries. I don't know about yours, and they're right in front of the freaking headlights on both sides. So then you're taking the battery out, disconnecting terminals, and the thing that holds it down, and then you're in there, and you can barely get your hand in there.
It's still
Pain in the ass. Everything's all plastic, so you break the little tabs. I broke the tabs on them. They're a lot easier to get out now. That's probably why they don't.
Yeah.
That's probably why they're.
LED, so don't ever burn out.
Yeah, and I should just put LEDs in there. But. Hi there. 15-yard Fond du Lac construction. So we're 5,680 pounds. That's not bad for a 15-yard without roofing in it. Well, there might be roofing in there. I could be wrong. Hopefully it's not full of concrete or something. and get yelled at. So this is our transfer station. This is a decommissioned landfill. So when I started my construction company, we used to drive up on the hill here. But they decommissioned this, I want to say it was probably about 10 years ago. And then the only big landfill is up in Appleton. That's close, nearby. So all this trash goes to Appleton.
Really?
And the transfer station's over here. And then they just
weigh in there and then go back over here.
Yep.
Did you have to come back over
Nope.
out?
No. So we have,
you know your truck weight?
see this is our, it's like a chip in there.
Sure.
So it's got a reader on it. So it knows, I tell them the size of the dumpster, it knows our empty weight. And then we have an account, so they just bill us every month.
I just got set up with an account, but I got.
Oh, it's so nice.
I have a card. I gotta just scan it and
sure
type in or
yeah.
just hit which trash it is.
Yeah.
Construction or mixed trash. It's nice because I don't have to get a receipt. Going in and just grab the receipt on the way out.
Yeah. But you got to go across the scale twice though.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks. It's not that big of a deal, especially if you have the account, because the line probably moves pretty fast. But like if you're in the normal people line,
Saturday,
oh god,
homeowner day.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh,
yep. We didn't do that for very long, and that costs so much time.
Oh, does it ever?
So this is where it all goes. I got 2 compactors in there, and then, well, I got 3 compactors. One's recycling though. And then for a transfer station, this is only 55 bucks a ton.
Really?
So this is, it's not private. If it was private, it'd be more. But this is county, it's owned by Winnebago County. And it's pretty clean. I mean, obviously you get nails, but
that's just something you gotta deal with.
Careful, you don't have high vis on, so they might yell at you. So that's the landfill, or our dump. This is our main one because it's the closest to Fond du Lac and Oshkosh, which is our 2 biggest markets. We do go north of Oshkosh a little bit, but I haven't touched into Appleton really much. We'll do some for existing customers, but as far as like advertising, that's where all the competition is based out of, is up here for the most part. But we were just talking, I keep a squeegee in the back of my truck on a pole, and like that dumpster, for example, was wood, and there was like paint chips and maybe leaves and some nails and stuff kind of stuck up in the corners, and it's not very much, you know, like a handful of stuff. But one thing I know, John at Same Day Dumpster, he like washes his dumpsters and cleans them before he takes them to customers. But one thing that I've been doing this on and off, you know, depending on the dumpster and what's in it, for several years, is I don't wash them like John does, but I'm very careful to go in there with the squeegee and get all that kind of wet, just debris, you know, shingle granules, dry, rotten wood and nails and leaves and stuff like that. And I squeegee the bottom of the dumpsters out, because what happens is, like, for example, this dumpster's going to a customer's house. Well, all that stuff's wet in there right now, but once we drive down the road, get to the customer's house, most likely that stuff is going to be dry. So when you tip the dumpster up to drop it at the next customer's, a lot of that stuff just falls out on their driveway. So that's one thing that I do. I'm not sure how John does like the power washing and how often and whatnot, but keeping clean dumpsters and just trying to keep our presentation as good as we possibly can, I think is really important. It makes me feel better, and it only takes a minute.
That made a heck of a difference.
It does.
Much nicer.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long.
Yeah, Home Depot orange.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Yeah, they're the new guys, Grisman. Well, they're not super new, but they're going big time.
Are they?
Yeah, they got a couple hundred dumpsters in the last couple of years. They're killing it.
They must go into a lot of debt to do that.
I would imagine, yeah, but you know, you can cash flow it.
I'm afraid of. I just don't want to go into.
That's the thing, like with, you know, how fast do you want to grow and how comfortable are you with that? Because everything can take a turn really fast and
All the
you
years
can't keep
I'm
up with it.
an entrepreneur, I've always learned not to grow too fast.
I think when we first started, we did to a certain degree, but we were able to grow with very little advertising. At the point we're at now, in order for us to grow, we have to advertise, and it's going to cost us money to do that. So that adds a whole nother cost to it. But there's plenty of time for us to grow. We can take more market share basically at any time we want. I think it's just a matter of getting the right, you know, things in place.
I found the video ads do much better than just this picture
like
ads.
a text. Yeah.
Yeah, we do all kinds of picture ads. We run one every day, every other day, a different one.
Sure.
My sister kind of does that for me. But I do the video ads.
Sure.
Right now, I've kind of built a relationship with Tamara on Fiverr. She's been doing them. I'm getting really good results with her ads versus some other ones I tried on there.
Sure.
So I just had her do 3 more. One for spring clean out, one for fall clean out, and one for like summertime.
Sure.
Stuff. So she did 3 different ones for that.
Are you doing any sort of promotions with that, or are you just advertising based on that time of the year?
Right
or
now,
are you doing like
so
a
competitive? I can't afford to get discounts or do any of that. You know.
Sure. I just wondered. I've thought about it. I've thought about it where it's like, you know, if you mention this ad, get $20 off
Memorial
or whatever.
Veterans Day, you know, you can do a discount for veterans.
Sure.
You know, or some sort of senior discount. I've had people ask me that many times. And I've just given it to them like $20 off or something.
Sure.
That makes them happy.
Yeah. Well, it might be the difference of getting that dumpster to them or not.
I ended up doing 4 dumpsters with her.
Yeah.
Or she was trying to choose between me and this other guy. And I said, well, I'll tell you what. I said, instead of 7 days, I'll give it to you for 10 days. And she goes, that's the deal. Sign me up.
Sometimes that's the difference, and that's a nice thing about being a smaller business is we can be flexible to that degree. Versus, you start talking to like Waste Management and the big guys, they don't have that. They can't do that for a customer.
No.
Nope.
And then I end up with 4 total dumpsters for her.
Yep. And you could have lost out on that over $20.
It all,
you know,
over $20. Nope. Yeah, you learn as you go.
We're pretty flexible about that kind of stuff too. Not always, but you know, somebody needs it for an extra day. Sometimes we charge them, sometimes we don't. Really, sometimes it might be more convenient for us for them to keep it for an extra day.
Yeah.
Because we don't need that dumpster today, we need it tomorrow.
I'll do that.
You know, sometimes we'll leave it there for an extra day just because of that. We don't usually get complaints, but if that same customer just so happens to ask for an extra day and you needed it, it's a win-win.
Yep.
It's a win-win for them because they don't have to pay for an extra day.
I do that a lot. I'll let them keep it an extra day.
Yeah.
If I don't want to go pick it up on a Sunday.
And they feel good about it.
You can have it for Monday too.
Yeah. I'll probably pretty much switch over to roll-off trucks exclusively. We'll switch out 1 trailer and truck this year, and then ideally next year, kind of the same thing. And then, you know, yeah, I'm not big on brand. Like, I like Fords. I've never had Chevys or GMCs. I've always had Fords, and I like Fords. They work for me. Yeah, they have their own problems. It's just like any other vehicle. I'm not against any other kind of vehicle. The only thing around here I see with all the salt is the Dodges just rust. They rust out so fast. That's the only thing against Dodge.
I used to have a shit ton of Dodge with the Cummins, and they were really popular.
Yeah.
Boy, I'd get 500,000-600,000 miles on them before I get rid of them.
Yeah.
They are just rust buckets.
Yeah.
And they also nickel and dime you to death in the front end parts and
Do they?
brakes, and geez, I went through a rear end on one. I went through trannies galore. I'll never buy a Dodge
It's just the
again.
rust. It's just the rust that bothers me. And I see them, and like I have friends. It's like a 5-year-old truck, and the thing is, the wheel wells are completely rusted out, and it's like
they're gone.
you drive that thing to work and back. What happened there? That's the only thing about Dodge I don't like. But Cummins and Cummins great engine. And actually, the Kenworth has what is it? It's not a Cummins. It's nope. It's
Detroit.
No, but it's basically a Cummins. God, why can't I think of it? I'd have to look it up. It's basically a Cummins.
But it has the Allison training.
Allison trans, yep.
Killer
Yep.
training. On these 10 speeds, my buddy that's the service director at GMC, he says since 2020 when the 10 speeds come out, he's only had 2 that have had some solenoid went bad on it. And that was it, it's just a quick replace the solenoid.
Yeah.
And he told me that's all. He says otherwise they've been bulletproof. 2 of them since 2020. That's it. So they're strong trains.
This is this has been a really good truck. It frustrated me really bad a couple years ago because it was just non-stop. And eventually we basically replaced the whole DEF system, which we probably should have done right away. But it just, you know, it was a little DEF heater sensor, and then it was another sensor, and then it was a DEF filter, and then it was this and that.
You're gonna have that DEF
well,
problem.
and it's in the shop for 2 days, and then it's good for 2 days, and then it's in the shop for 2 days, and then it's good for 2 days, it's in the shop for 2 days. And granted, you know, at that time it had over 100,000 miles on it, so that's when you're gonna start getting issues with it. But now it's been basically flawless for the last year, and
like 2014 was like that.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of DEF issues. If I just replaced everything. First it was a heater, and then it was something else.
there's jets, and there's so many little stupid things in there. Oh God, and I don't understand any of it. But the truck literally governs you.
I was gonna
So it's
have
not
to
like-
delete it.
Well, it's
But
not
then
like
it
you
costs
just
more
drive
to
it.
delete it than it does just to replace the DEF
Right,
system.
right. Well, and then it'll idle. It'll put you to idle or less than 50 miles. So
Yeah.
it's a communist. It's a communist son of a bitch when it wants to be. You know, it tells you what to do. Commie bastards. You know, the other truck you get, you know, your frickin' O2 sensor goes or something like that. You just frickin' drive it.
Yeah.
But these things, the sensor goes and it's telling you, hey, you got 20 miles and now we're going to be at 50.
Power mode,
Yeah, we're going to be at 50 miles an hour or less. And what do you do?
Have an injector go bad, you know, low power mode.
Yup.
Bitch.
Frickin' commies.
Forces you.
I never thought of that before, but it's a good reference.
Yeah, it is.
Frickin' communist truck. A little pump.
Well, you can put it up.
Uh-oh. Don't you do it. She was running.
Oh,
She was running for the road.
Moving lately.
Yeah.
I saw a lady cream one the other day.
She was running for the road, and I was thinking, oh boy, right in front of a school bus. This big touristy spot. A little place like this, probably I don't know, probably $250,000.
No shit.
Mm-hmm. Just because of the lake, just because of the boat access. You got a boat, and it's protected.
Oh, that's right there.
Yep.
Oh, crap. I didn't see that.
I mean, I don't know if this one's a $250,000, but fixed up, fuck yeah. You got all the people from Illinois and Milwaukee and all them places. They snatch these places up, come up on the weekends. Bang, bang, bang.
It's worse than mine. I can't wait to hear how you like the roll-off truck.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
I've been really debating if I want to go hook lift or stick with the cable.
Yeah, for me, sticking with
You got so
cable
many.
makes sense for now.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known to have my cans made with hooks on them
Oh,
in the
that's
beginning,
what I was thinking.
but I didn't know that. And I'm not against hook lift. I'm not necessarily completely for it either.
Was one
they're a
more
lot more-
powerful than the other?
They're a lot more available. Hook lifts seem to be
Oh yeah. You
under
can't find
CDL. Under CDL
Yeah.
seems to be a lot
it.
more.
You can't find it.
Over CDL, you can find old cable trucks anywhere. You can find one in the ditch on the side of the road, free to get home. Yeah. But like I was just saying, the customer is already happy with our service before we even dropped it off. He said, you know, everything, and the lady in the office was really nice, and you guys are really helpful, and so we got a dumpster dropped off, and we got a happy customer before we even picked it up, which is exactly what we want.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that's our job as small haulers and smaller companies. That's what sets us apart from the big guys, because anybody can just go drop off a dumpster and charge a customer, but number one is customer service. Number one. If we aren't providing good customer service, we're no different than Waste Management.
Yeah, and always thank them for their business.
Yep.
Shake their hand, look them right in the eye, and
Yep.
thank them for their business.
Ask them if they have
do
any
that
questions.
Drop off and pick up.
Yep. Yep. And sometimes you don't see the customers, and that's
Yeah.
fine. You know, maybe they're not there. Or,
They're there.
yeah. I always try to answer their questions, ask them if they have any questions, and just, you know, they almost always do have questions.
Especially like how to open the door.
Yeah, a lot of people.
That's a big one.
Yep.
Yeah, so now I just gotta focus on this SEO stuff.
Well, and get more
Yeah.
dumpsters. Work your way into it. Don't jump, you know, too far into the SEO, because then you're gonna be paying money for customers you can't get. That's one of the problems. Like, you gotta ride a fine line, in my opinion. How much advertising and SEO and that kind of stuff that you do,
Try to balance it.
and balance that with how many dumpsters you have, you know. And if you're sold out all the time, you definitely need more dumpsters. Probably not more SEO. At least yet.
I think the SEO is more for building my Google name, you know, building up
Yeah.
reputation and
Right.
getting Google to recognize me more.
But by doing that,
And
you're
get me
gonna
up
get
on the
more
page,
phone
and then
calls,
you get
and
more
more
phone calls,
more
yeah.
leads and whatnot.
I agree. You are out of 20s, aren't you?
She said we're getting a couple back tomorrow, and we had a customer that needed 2. I don't know if those are going back out. They might have even be going back out today, but I don't think Jake was picking any up today. It doesn't look like he's been here, so everything that he's picked up has gone back out, which is nice, because it looks like the same dumpsters here as it was earlier. Yeah, so last week was actually, for Memorial Day weekend, it was slow for
Yeah,
us.
I was slow too.
I couldn't believe it. Like,
I had a lot of them sold.
I mean,
but
we
didn't have
were-
many calls.
yeah, we were out. We had plenty of dumpsters out, but you would think, like, going into this week, this place would be empty. And I mean, this morning we had all the 10 yards and 8:15. So we had 12 dumpsters here this morning.
Huh.
I mean, it's Wednesday now, but yesterday I wasn't here yesterday, but I thought we'd be sold out. But it was weird. It was kind of slow. I don't know if it was the weather.
Huh. Yeah, I guess there was a couple of days of storms. That was probably it, at least for us. Where's this one going?
This one's going for some roofers. 12 minutes. Yeah, we're not going far. "12 minutes away."
Do it.
But yeah, I don't know. It just goes and flows like that. I don't know. Same with like the 10s and or the 20s and 15s. 10 yards, we don't sell them as much anymore. What I did, so I used to have $350 for a 15 and $300 for a 10. People would always take the 10.
Really?
So I started charging $325 for the 10s.
Stop.
People take the 15s now. So I psychologically tricked
that
people
funny?
into getting what I wanted them to get.
I get them hemming and hawing over a 4 1/4 for a 15 yard for 7 days. It's $3.75 for 3 days.
Yeah.
And they hem and haw over that, and I tell them, I said, you know, it's only $50 to have it, you know, for a whole week.
I'll tell you what, when I
And then
changed,
they're like, oh yeah, I guess that's not bad, and they get do it for a
when I changed that size from the 10 yards, because we were always sold out of 10s and people wouldn't take the 15, so I was hurting myself on sales for the 15 yards because people were always taking the 10s, and we only have 4 10s.
Yeah.
So as soon as I did that, I immediately noticed the difference. And I'd rather sell a 15 to somebody than a 10 because
Remember
I'm
one of your
automatically
old
getting a
videos,
little
you
bit
couldn't get
more
rid
money.
of 10s. You
When
had
I
those
first started.
short, yeah, the short ones.
Well, so then nobody had ever heard of a 10-yard dumpster. They didn't exist.
Yeah.
Nobody had a 10-yard dumpster. We were the only one. I think some of it was advertising and things like that. Now everybody's got a 10-yard dumpster, and they're a little bit more common, but they're still useful in their own right.
Yeah, you have to have them.
I'd rather
get a few that want them.
I'm immediately going to get more money out of a customer by giving them a 15. So that was a mistake that I made by giving too much of a discount on the 10s over the 15s.
Sure.
That was my mistake, and I learned that.
Yep.
That's why they were selling. We never had them in stock, but people weren't buying the 15s as much. So now since I changed that, people still buy the 10s because that's all they need. But they're less incentivized to do that now, which has made a big difference. And then we're adjusting our pricing a little bit, because we're gonna right now we only do 7-day or less rentals, so we're gonna keep our prices the same, but so we'll raise our price, but our price will be the same, but it's gonna be a 1 to 3 day. And then the 3 to 7 day is going to be $25 per dumpster more. So in theory, we're raising our price, but we're also incentivizing the customer to keep the dumpster less. And that's my plan to grow without spending money. I'm just trying to be able to get those 20 yards back when we're sold out sooner. You know, obviously not everybody's gonna take that. Some people want a week, but that'll allow us to hopefully turn our dumpsters a little bit faster. And then I don't have to invest in more inventory in the meantime. I'm hoping that'll help us get away from investing in more dumpsters for a little while.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But people like having them for 7 days. There's
a lot of them that only want them for the 3-day weekend.
There is.
On Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And they can buy a 7-day and we'll come pick it up early. And we tell all of our customers that. But there's a lot of people who like to do around and have it for the entire week and go through everything and clean and, and they don't want to be rushed. There's other,
Yep, that's true. That's very true.
But yeah, so that's my plan. So in theory, we'll give people less days for the same price. And then if they want it for a week, then they'll be paying more.
So how do you do the swap out? Like if they want to swap it out, do you give a discount on it, or do you?
Yeah, if we can do a dump and return, or if we can set an empty next to a full one and pick up the full one. And the reason we give a discount
it only if I have one I can bring with me to swap it out. But if I got to pick it up, run to the dump, and run it back, then it's the same price.
Yeah, and in a lot of cases that's how it works. But the way that I look at it is if it saves me time, fuel, and time, then I'll give them a discount. If it doesn't, then they're not getting a discount.
Yep.
So in theory, they're getting a discount, but it's also saving me time and money.
If I gotta go pick it up, run to the landfill, then bring it back, it's not saving me.
It can in some cases, rather than going from the yard or someone else. In some cases it can. Yeah, if it's an hour from the landfill, then you're not saving yourself any time.
Fall River, one of them in Fall River. Another one. He said, how much would it be? And I said, well, I happen to have one with me, so if I could bring that with me,
drop that
out,
yep.
I said, then I'll save you $100.
Yep, and that saves you time and energy,
and he
fuel.
Was like, all right, that sounds good.
Yep.
That saved me a lot of time.
Yep.
Fuel.
There's other places like big jobs or places where they know they're going to need 3 or 4 20 yards or whatever. We'll give them discounts because they know from the get-go, hey, we're going to be ordering more than one dumpster.
That with all yours, it's just like a rental fee and then plus tonnage, or you include 1 ton?
We include 1 ton, yep. I've thought about going to no ton, but I think you're pushing it, and that's where you get into like the charging per pound and stuff. I'm a little bit nervous about that. I think that'll work. In some markets, and I think if you start that way and you don't have existing customers, I think your customers would maybe get used to it. But with our business, it was established pretty much when we bought it, so some of our customers might have been using us for 15 years. I don't want to change things too drastically.
Right.
We got pushback when we went from a flat rate. So we used to just do a flat rate on all of our dumpsters, no tonnage. When we switched that, we got a lot of pushback on that. But we lowered our price quite a bit, by about $100 per dumpster. and we're including 1 ton, right?
Right.
But we got a lot of pushback on that.
Really?
People just like the flat rate. They don't want surprises. They don't want to get a big charge after the fact that they weren't expecting. And like you start talking about like roofers or contractors, they have a general idea what something's going to weigh, right? Not perfect, but they know, hey, I'm going to get charged for probably an extra ton on this one because they only include 1 ton. My guess is it's probably going to be 2. You have a good idea, but a lot of uneducated customers don't know. They have no idea. They don't even know what a ton is. People will ask on the phone, what's a ton?
Yep.
How many pounds is that?
2 tons. And they're quiet, and I said, that's 4,000 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
I said, it's highly unlikely you're going to hit that unless you throw in concrete or something.
Right. Well, and that's where like a lot of our, I wouldn't say all of it, but a lot of our business, I would say at least 50% is residential. It's pretty rare on a residential, even a 20 yard, that you're over a ton. And if you are, it's not by much.
Very rare.
Not by much.
I see a ton to a ton and a half at the most. I had one lady yell at me because it rained and her mattress in the dumpster got wet. And she said, that's going to cost me more. That's more weight, you know.
Yeah, you tell her it's going to cost me more
too. Call Mother
too.
Nature and talk to her. So it's going to cost me more to dump it too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I don't want to dump your water.
I get charged by the pound. I said, they don't give a shit if it got rained on or not. It's Bidenomics.
Yeah, it
trickles
the
down.
way the world is. It's the way it is. We had a lot of pushback when we went from flat rate, but I think people have kind of gotten used to it, and that's where I think like making too many changes too often can hurt you. People don't like change. Humans don't like change. It's like in our DNA. We don't like change. So when things change and it's hard for people to understand, people don't like that. That's the main reason why I'm kind of happy with where we are. We got our prices down by only including 1 ton. We got our prices down lower to where it looks better on paper. But then on the other side, when we were doing flat rates and we were renting them to homeowners, they were paying for the roofers who were, right? Because it's all a law of average. So when the roofers have a 3-ton load and the homeowner has a 300-pound load, we have to take that average, and then the homeowner is paying half of the roofer's fee, right? And so that's when we changed it. But the main reason to do that was to get our prices down. But we recover that cost on the back end in theory, right? If it's overweight. I like the flat rate though, overall. It works pretty nice. And honestly, I haven't noticed like a jump in profit or anything since we've changed. I think profit margins have stayed basically the same. It's just who's paying for it. Oh, look at that. Mustang for sale. My wife would kill me.
Yeah, I got rid of my Harley. Next thing I was buying a Mustang.
Yeah.
I've had enough motorcycles.
My dad had one like that one. And when I was a kid, I remember it was basically that same color. It's a 67 with the convertible.
Mustang would probably be a 69 or 70 Mach 1.
Yeah.
The 302 Mach 1s. Those are beautiful. That's probably my favorite bodies.
That's when they changed, wasn't it?
Yep.
They went to more of the square body from that.
It looks more like a fastback.
Yeah, yep. What year did they change? Was that like 68? 69?
69, 70. Not sure.
I think they went into like
71,
70.
they went those longer, those ones. You know.
Yeah.
They had the hatchback.
That's the more
on back.
square body. The one I'm thinking of is the early 70s, yeah. You see them now, they're freaking, the electric ones, they don't even look they don't resemble a Mustang whatsoever. Have you seen them? They look like like an SUV.
They make a noise.
They look like that thing.
Yeah. Well, that's good, you know, and I do some of these longer runs for houses, drop-offs and stuff. I was wondering if I'm just doing too long or too far.
You gotta
Now I
take,
see you're kind of doing the same thing I am.
to some degree, yeah, you gotta take what you can get to some degree, and you gotta service the customer that calls you. And when you're paying for advertising and stuff like that, you gotta try to take every call, because say if every phone call costs you $20 and you turn down 3, well, that means the one that you took cost 60 in advertising, you know what I mean? So was it worth it at the end of the day? You know, was it truly worth it?
It doesn't really cost you that much to drive, like, you know, an hour drive or 45-minute drive.
You gotta charge for it. You gotta charge for it. It's different than like this. So this dumpster, $350.
I mean, it's not a deal killer.
This dumpster's $350. That first one might have been $500.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta justify that extra, because I could do 20 of these in a day. You know, I mean, if they're all empty, I can just keep them going. But you start doing that, and you're down to 3 or 4 dumpsters a day, and that's a long day to do those.
Yeah. You'd be driving all day. I've done that.
Yeah, and that's part of it, especially, like I said, like for us, Madison's a little bit bigger of a, you know, metropolis, but still from one side of Madison to the other is 7121. Where is it? Oh, it's on the left. That's a pretty good size roof. That's 30 square, huh?
Yeah.
Probably.
15 yards, perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I learned. How many square fits in what size dumpster?
Oh! You're fine. Do you want to pull out before I back in? Sweet little old lady.
Pull that link out of there.
Yeah. Sweet little old lady.
Yeah, she seemed really nice. So you think this is going to be one of your better years?
Yeah, we've been trying to hit at least 100 dumpsters a month, every month, and we've been doing good. I think this month will probably be a little right around 100, but obviously January, February, I think we were in like the 70s per month total dumpster rentals. And obviously total dumpster rentals doesn't necessarily dictate profit or anything, but gross revenue, it should be. I really want to hit 1,000. I haven't for a year. We haven't. This year I'm hoping to do 1,200. And there's still a lot of year left.
Well,
We've had months that were in the 120s, 115, 117 this year already. This month,
I don't know how many dumpsters I did, but I know my second year I did 72,000. First year was like 30,000 with the 2 dump trailers.
yeah.
So I mean, I'm growing.
That's all I want to see too. That's all I want to see is just
get the
good steady.
400,000 in a year. Holy shit! I'm
Yeah.
jumping up and down.
Yeah, I think. Well, we've done 300,000, but really at the end of the day, it comes down to profit, and I want to get the rental numbers up because we can be more efficient. The more numbers we do, the more efficient we are.
Right.
And the more efficient we are, the more profitable we are, in theory. Now, it doesn't always work that way, but it should. Not real keen on charging extra to protect the driveway. I feel like that's our job. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I thought about that.
I understand people charging for
I
it.
got a few of them that really push that, buy those skates and the.
Well, you can buy the skates.
I put a 4x4 under the front of mine. That's all I do.
Buy the skates. I think they're great. When I get a roll-off, when I have my roll-off truck, I'll have skates on it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to charge for it.
Yeah.
And you know what I hope? Everybody charges for that.
Yeah.
And guess who's the good guy, right? And then I set myself apart from the competition.
You advertise that too.
Yeah. Free driveway protection. You got any questions?
No, I think we covered a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have fun?
Learned a lot. Yep.
That's good.
Good time.
Good.
To do it again sometime.
Yeah. You'll have to wait for the video and Pat can watch it. This will be a longer video. You would know that if you're here, but just kind of talking shop and talking dumpsters, and yeah, it's nice to meet some of the local guys, and you know, our service areas touch. They don't really overlap, but they touch, and it's nice to meet other guys that are in the same business and have the same mindset and same ideas and goals and things like that.
Yeah, same equipment. Yeah, and we can kind of bounce ideas off each other and answer each other's questions, refer jobs to each other, and yeah, kind of build a community. And YouTube's done that for me, for sure. And that's where I meet, you know, guys like Pat, is through YouTube. And you're welcome anytime.
Yeah, thank you.
I enjoyed
I
it.
appreciate it. It's a good time.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you for watching. We'll see you on the next one.